everyone and welcome back to Studify Success. We are back with the third part of life processes chapter, and this is from class 10th biology, and we have already covered two parts of this chapter. In the first part we did nutrition, in the second part we did respiration and transportation in animals, in which we covered the whole circulatory system in human beings as well. Now we are back with the third part, in which we have transportation in plants and excretion in both plants and animals. So this will be the last part for life processes, and hope you like it and hope you understand everything. All the notes are available in the description section, and for more content you can always visit our website studifysuccess.com. So let's get started with the chapter. So we are going to start with transportation in plants. As I have told you that transportation means to transport some raw materials, some food particles or any component from one part to other part of the body. Now in plants we know that the food is prepared in the leaves. Now from the leaves these food materials need to go throughout the body and need to spread throughout the body. The water and minerals which are absorbed from the roots, they are also to be transported throughout the plant body. All this is done by the transportation system in plant, and all this is done by two pathways. Plants have developed two pathways for transportation in them. One is the xylem and second is the phloem. Xylem and phloem together constitute to make the vascular bundle in plants, which is responsible for transportation in plants. Now what is xylem and what is phloem? We'll have a deeper look at both of them. Starting with the xylem. Xylem transports water and minerals from roots to all parts of the plant. So we know that there are two substances which are to be transported. First is the food from the leaves and second is the water and minerals. These two are to be transported. The water and minerals are transported by xylem, and phloem is responsible for the transportation of food in plant body. So phloem is responsible for transportation of food and xylem is responsible for transportation of water. So xylem transports water and minerals from roots to all parts of the plant. Now what are the components of xylem? Xylem has xylem vessels and tracheids. These are two different types of vessels which are responsible for the transport of water and minerals from one part to the other. So xylem vessels and tracheids are the two parts of the xylem conducting system. Then how is the water conducted? There are two forces due to which the water is transported from one part to other. First is due to transpiration. What happens in transpiration? Transpiration is the loss of water from leaves. So we know that leaves have stomata in them, and from this stomata the water is often absorbed and released as water vapors. This process is called transpiration. Due to transpiration there is a lack of water in the leaves, due to which there is a suction force in the plant. This suction force helps the plant to absorb water from the roots, and due to this suction the plants move towards the leaf to remove that suction which is caused by transpiration. The transpiration pull becomes the major driving force in the movement of water in xylem in day. So transpiration pull is one of the major factors which control the movement of water during day. Now let's move forward with phloem. Now what happens in phloem? I told you that phloem is responsible for transporting food from the leaves to the other parts of plant. So let us see the definition. Transport of soluble products of photosynthesis, which means food, because photosynthesis gives us food materials. So soluble products of photosynthesis from leaves to other parts of the plant by phloem is called translocation. The process by which phloem transfers these food materials is called translocation. So we have studied about transpiration just now. The second process is translocation, which is the movement of the soluble products of photosynthesis, which means the food products, from the leaves to other parts of the plant which need them. Now as I have told you, the xylem had xylem vessels and tracheids as their main components. The phloem consists of sieve tubes and companion cells. This you have to remember, that xylem consists of xylem vessels and tracheids, and phloem consists of sieve tubes and companion cells. Now let us see how is translocation happening. So you can see here, this is a leaf cell, this green cell is a leaf cell, and it has a lot of sucrose. We know that sucrose is the product of photosynthesis. So this sucrose from the companion cells comes into the phloem using ATP. Now in xylem there was no energy consumption, but in phloem, in translocation, energy consumption in the form of ATP is there. So from the leaf cell, the sucrose comes to phloem using ATP. It is transferred from the leaf to the phloem using ATP. Now the xylem and phloem both run parallelly. In the xylem the water is running, and now in the phloem the concentration of sucrose is more. Now due to diffusion, you can see there is a concentration gradient, which means that phloem has more concentration of sucrose and less concentration of water, whereas xylem has more concentration of water and less concentration of sucrose. So it has more concentration of water and it has more concentration of sucrose. Now what is going to happen? The water from xylem moves to phloem because of this concentration gradient. To remove this concentration gradient, water from high concentration, which is in the xylem, goes to the area with low concentration, which is the phloem. This is diffusion, or this is osmosis. So water from high concentration moves to low concentration. Now what happens? This pressure moves the material in the phloem to tissues. Now again you can see, this is a tissue, this has very low sucrose. Now in the tissue the sucrose amount is very low. Now in a similar way, now you can see the water moved from high concentration to low concentration. In the similar way, this sucrose from high concentration to low concentration, it will move into the tissue where it is required. Now the phloem has high concentration of sucrose, it will move to the area with low concentration of sucrose, that is the tissue. So this is how translocation works. Firstly, with the help of ATP, sucrose is transported from leaf to phloem. Now there is an osmotic pressure or osmotic gradient. So water rushes into the phloem because water moves from high concentration to low concentration area. Now sucrose also moves and it goes from high concentration of sucrose, that is in the phloem, to low concentration of sucrose, that is in the tissue cells. So this is how translocation works. This allows the phloem to move material according to the plant's need. Wherever sucrose is less, the phloem will move the sucrose in that place with the help of translocation. This is what is happening in xylem and phloem. Moving ahead to excretion. Now we are done with transportation in both plants and animals. Now coming to excretion. Excretion is the last life process. Now excretion is the process of excreting out or removing waste materials from our body. We know that after metabolic processes we produce a lot of waste materials. For example, carbon dioxide is one of the waste materials that we produce after respiration. This carbon dioxide cannot get accumulated in the body. This has to be removed from the body. So that process of removing this waste products of metabolic activities is called excretion. In unicellular organisms, I have told you in the first part as well that unicellular organisms, all the life processes undergo simple diffusion in unicellular organisms, and the waste is also similarly secreted in the water, as we have seen in amoeba in the first part of the lecture. In multicellular organisms, the waste products are removed by specialized organs. Let us start with excretion in plants. We will see different types of waste products and how are they excreted. Firstly, starting with the gaseous waste products. So carbon dioxide is released due to respiration and oxygen is released due to photosynthesis. These are the two main processes. Oxygen is released by photosynthesis and carbon dioxide is a byproduct of respiration. Both of them have to be removed. Some of the oxygen is reused for respiration as well by the plants, and carbon dioxide is also reused by the plants for photosynthesis, but they are to be removed. The excess gases have to be removed and they are done by the stomata which are present on the leaf. So gases are removed by the stomata. Coming to the next waste, which is excess water. Water is also produced in almost all metabolic activities. So these are also removed by stomata. As we have seen in transpiration, this excess water is removed. Some waste products are stored in leaves and are removed when leaves dry and fall off. So waste particles keep on storing in leaf. There are vacuole is a organelle which stores all these waste products, and as the leaf dies and falls off, these waste particles also are removed from the plant. Some waste products are stored in the vacuoles, as I have just told you. Some waste products like gums and resins are stored in old xylem cells and they are used by us. Okay. Some waste products are removed through roots into the soil. So from roots, these are excreted out into the soil, some nitrogenous waste. So these are the different ways in which plants undergo excretion. Moving on to excretion in animals, particularly in humans. Now we know that humans have a particular system because it is a multicellular organism. Humans again have an excretory system as well. So this is the excretory system of humans. These are the components of the excretory system. We have two kidneys or a pair of kidneys. Then we have two ureters which are joining the two kidneys to a urinary bladder. This is a bladder. The ureters are joining the kidneys to the urinary bladder. Then at the end of the urinary bladder there is a urethra from which the waste is removed from the body. Now kidneys are located in the abdomen, one on either side of the backbone. Urine is produced in the kidneys, and then urine which is produced in the kidneys move through the ureters to this bladder. Then here it is stored. This urinary bladder is a muscular organ, so it can expand when urine is being stored, and it is under our control. That is why we can control the urge to urinate. Then this urine is passed through the urethra out of the body. Now how is urine production going on in this kidney? So kidney has multiple nephrons. Nephrons are the basic excretory units which are present in kidney, and each kidney has number of these excretory units which we call the nephron. This is a nephron and it is a complicated structure, but each nephron produces some amount of urine, and collectively urine is produced in the kidneys. Now let us see the structure of the nephron. You can see first we have these efferent and afferent arterioles from which the waste material comes into the kidney. Now here you can see there is a bundle of various capillaries, and this bundle of capillaries is called the glomerulus. Around this glomerulus there is a C-shaped capsule which is called the Bowman's capsule. Bowman's capsule surrounds the glomerulus. From this Bowman's capsule starts the tubular part of the nephron. There are three parts of this tubular structure. First is the proximal convoluted duct tubule, which we call PCT. Then comes here which is the Henry's loop, which is a loop like structure which is present over here. Then is the collecting duct. All this is the tubular parts of the nephron. All you have to remember is glomerulus, Bowman's capsule and collecting duct. This should be remembered by all of you. Now around this tubular part there are various capillaries which are wrapped around like this around the tubular part as well. We will see the function of them in detail in the next slide. So let's see how is the urine being produced. You have seen the basic structure of a nephron. Now let us see the process of urine production. Now what happens is the renal artery brings the nitrogenous waste like ammonia, urea and uric acid along with excess water and salts into the nephron. Now we have to remove ammonia, urea and uric acid. This is what we have to remove from the body. But water and salts, we do not want to remove water and salts because we need water and we need these salts. These are essential. So we have to minimize the loss of water and salts. Hence we have to reabsorb these excess water and salts while producing urine. So let's see how is it done. The useful products like amino acids, glucose and salts, and some amount of water also is reabsorbed by the capillaries around the tubular structure. I told you that around this tubular structure there are various capillaries. You can see there are various capillaries which are wrapped around it, and these capillaries reabsorb this useful structure which we need. They reabsorb them and they send it to the body because we do not want to lose them. Only the product which comes out, the urine, only has nitrogenous waste and some amount of water and salts which is passed out from the body. So now all the waste from this renal artery enters the Bowman's capsule in the glomerulus. It starts filtering out and then it moves along all these tubules. The excess water and some important salts are reabsorbed by all these veins, and the final product is then moved through these collecting ducts. From these collecting ducts, the final urine is produced, which from the ureters goes to the urinary bladder, and it is then stored in the urinary bladder. As I told you, it is a muscular organ, hence it can expand when the urine is stored in it, and then it moves out through the urethra. It is under our nervous control, and from the bladder urine is released through the urethra. So this is the overall process which you need to know, that some important components are reabsorbed from the tubular part of the nephron, and some important parts like Bowman's capsule, glomerulus, the collecting duct, these are the important parts of a nephron and the important parts of the excretory system as a whole itself. You should know all these things. Then this brings us to the very end of this chapter. We have done a lot of things in this chapter. We started with nutrition, we then did respiration, transportation, and now finally we are done with excretion as well. I hope all these life processes, they were a bit complicated for you all and a bit new for all of you, but I think I have made them easy for you, and I hope you have understood all of them. So thank you so much for being with me till the very end of this video. All the notes are available in the description section, and for more study content you can always visit our website studifysuccess.com, and thank you so much.